Have you seen a picture of Edward Furlong? He's not going to be with us for long.
Oh, cut that.
The Quest is a 1996 American martial arts film written and directed by Jean-Claude Van Damme, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, Roger Moore, and James Remar. Welcome back to the Cult of Films. I'm John, the host, and with me tonight is my sensei, Jason Eugene Holt.
You still got to come over and paint my fence. Like, I was serious about. Like, I know you know that it's just for muscle memory. But that doesn't change the fact that I have an unpainted fence and I'm teaching my daughter about Huck Finn, so...
This is why I like you. You didn't pick the low-hanging fruit. You didn't do the wax-on, wax-off joke.
No.
You went for the deep cut, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, most people know wax on, wax off, which means they would get absolutely trounced by a kick because they never learned to paint the fence.
Right.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
Or sand the floor, you know. You got to have the whole, all the chores in the repertoire. Jason, we're finally talking about a Jean-Claude Van Damme film. And there's about 400 of them. And for whatever, we've been chopping at the bit to actually talk about any of them. Why did we pick The Quest?
It's deeply stupid.
Easy, kid, it ain't worth it.
It's the movie Street Fighter should have been, maybe. We should have done Street Fighter. There's still time. We can definitely do Street Fighter later.
Tell me the whole time you were watching this, you weren't just like, I wish I was watching Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
I wish I was watching Street Fighter. I want to see two guys fight and then everyone get on a plane and fly somewhere else.
So this was Street Fighter without the travel, basically?
Yeah, it's like US versus Germany. It's like, everyone just gets on a plane. Just everyone's just like red eyes and just, oh, my neck. I told you to bring a neck pillow.
Only Jean-Claude Van Damme can make a Kirkland brand movie of a movie that he was in. As his first feature.
I know. This is budget Bloodsport.
And not even hiding it. I mean, it is.
No, it's not, because here's the deal. Frank Dukes, the guy who was the martial artist who claimed that he fought in a Kumite tournament, and they based the movie Bloodsport on Frank's life, he wrote this. And then Jean-Claude Van Damme basically was like, oh, he was my co-writer, and they changed a bunch of stuff and said he was the writer of the movie. Very funny stuff.
Yes.
Frank Dukes had the fastest knockout in the history of the tournament he fought in, but Jean-Claude Van Damme is like, yeah, I want the muscles from Brussels, so I'm not paying you, Frank.
Right.
And they basically made a bad version of Bloodsport. And instead of Tong Po, they got the Kirkland brand Tong Po, which was his brother Abdel, the actor Michael, who played Tong Po in Kickboxer, and he was, I forget his character's name in Bloodsport. I only know his name was Tong Po in Kickboxer because he kept referring to himself in the third person.
Sure.
That's the only reason I know that. He didn't do that shit in Bloodsport, so I don't remember his name in that. But yeah, like the big bad, the Mongolian fighter in The Quest was the brother of Tong Po. So this is a very similar movie to Bloodsport, but it's wacky.
It is.
Because Bloodsport didn't have a wacky heist with the wackiest James Bond trying to steal a golden dragon in a fucking hot air balloon. I mean, it was a blimp, but come on.
Yeah.
That's some wacky racist shit.
Right.
Snidely Whiplash would have a plan like that. And he's like, wow, they're all distracted at the tournament. We'll steal. I don't know Snidely Whiplash's voice. I was just doing the Monarch from Venture Brothers.
That totally works. Yeah.
It was like my best entrance ever!
Wow, they're distracted. We'll steal the golden dragon. Just so dumb. What a dumb piece of crap movie. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Watched it dozens of times.
Yes.
This movie is about a fighting tournament, and it takes so long to get to the fighting tournament.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, when are they going to get to the fighting tournament?
Yeah.
Don't worry. They take a boat ride to the fighting tournament, and it's in real time.
Right. Right. It's just the zaniest shit ever. Like I said, this is his directorial debut, feature film. He starts it off in old man makeup. I mean,
yeah.
But old man makeup goes into clown makeup. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this movie? Because, like you, I saw this thing back in the day.
Yeah.
I had no recollection of anything because it was just a 1996. I was some dumb kid and I wasn't paying attention. Or maybe it felt like every Jean-Claude Van Damme film kind of feels similar. So I didn't know what scene was from what. I watched all of them back then. But the old man like Johnny Knoxville bad grandpa makeup.
I know.
Oh,
and it's so funny because it's like, this is how I'll look when I'm 60. It's like he's 60 now and he does not look like that. He just looks like he did it in Time Cop, just a little more wrinkly. It's so funny that everyone's like, here's what Patrick Stewart will look like at the age of 65. And he's like 78 now and he looks even younger than that. It's so funny. The exaggeration of how they think people are. So Jean-Claude Van Damme thought he would look worse than he does now, older than that character was.
Right.
Walking with a cane and shit. He's still doing backflips on TV.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, Jean-Claude Van Damme did the splits between two moving trucks. And he's like, in 1996, he's like, wow, when I'm that age, I will definitely need to walk with a cane.
Right.
That I will use to thrash hoodlums.
I was going to say, maybe it was just a complete testicle flex because he wanted to set the tone that Dubois was such a badass that even at 80 years old, he could still, kick a bunch of, barflies' asses with a cane. Mother! And in clown makeup on stilts. Like, this all happens in the film.
The movie starts out with a gang of toughs robbing an empty bar. It's like, give me all the money in the register. I have $4
I just opened. Yeah.
That guy has 9:30 in the morning. Guy's drinking a coffee. What are you doing? 4 of them. Hey, let's split the take 4 ways.
The fry oil isn't even like temp yet. It's just not ready. And
I haven't taken the plastic cups off of the booze bottles yet. Can you come back? Come back in like 6 hours when there are customers. Yeah.
Right.
So he thwarts the worst robbery. It's 4 guys. They have 1 switchblade between them. I'm sure they trade off.
Yeah.
It's like, I want the switchblade this time. No, you don't have the leather jacket. I have the group's only expensive looking clothing.
How much do you think Jean-Claude Van Damme was trying to pay James Remar to wear his Warriors vest for that scene? Just like, come on. He's like, nope, not for this movie. I'll say America, yeah, but I'm not gonna.
No, he didn't say America. He said New York City, and every time we're just giving so much of the movie away. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
If you saw Street Fighter, it's like that.
Or Bloodsport or Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
So he's in the tournament, and James Remar wants him to win. And then he gets knocked down, and James Remar goes, New York City! And it just reminded me of those old Pace salsa commercials. Like, my salsa's from San Antonio, Texas. Where's yours from? And he goes, New York City! New York City!
Well, this stuff's made in New York City.
New York City!
New York City!
He's great in this. It is very.
Oh yeah, James Remar's like, I'm the world's best boxer, and then he gets an outside leg kick, and he's like, I will never fight in a tournament.
I lost the belt. Yeah.
He's like, oh, you shouldn't pick Balrog on purpose because he has no kicks. Got it.
I'm saying, yes. Yeah. Saget will kill Balrog every time.
Balrog.
Yeah.
And nobody picked him. Everybody in this movie is Fei Long, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Versus Guile.
We got a Vega without the mask.
Yeah. I like the Vega dude in this, actually.
Yeah, trying to be sexy. He was like winking to the one lady in the audience. It's just such a weird premise because like, okay, try to help me out here. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. He is a lifelong orphan that's good at fighting, and a clown because he's supporting his other friends?
Orphans. Yeah, he's like the boss of all the orphans. Oh.
Red, you're in charge now. No matter what happens, I'll come back. I swear to God, I'll come back.
The movie starts out, and it's Newsies for about 15 minutes.
in clown makeup.
This movie's Newsies 2, The Newsening. For like 10 minutes, you're like...
Bozo Boogaloo.
He's like, thanks, you thwarted a robbery. How can I ever pay you? He's like, let me tell you a really long story.
Yeah, Princess Bride's the shit.
I could have said one time I was in a fighting tournament and then I won. But that doesn't do justice to the 15 minutes when I was a clown. And I karate kicked a cop in the mouth on stilts.
And the bartender's like, can we clean up all these guys? Like, can we call the cops? Like,
the cast of this movie, if you like martial arts, is very good.
Yes.
The casting of this movie in general, quite good. You have Jean-Claude Van Damme, who kind of famous. You probably heard of him. Maybe you saw the movie Lionheart. Maybe you saw either Double Trouble or Double Impact. He made one with his own twin, and he made one with Dennis Rodman, and I don't know which is which.
Oh, man.
Maybe you saw Sudden Death, the ice hockey arena movie with Powers Booth. Who knows how you know Jean-Claude Van Damme? The important thing is he's the muscles from fucking Brussels, and he plays Jean-Claude Van Damme type in this movie.
Yes.
This movie also stars everyone's third favorite James Bond, Sir Roger Moore.
How are you? How's business? Oh, that good, eh?
It stars Dexter's dead dad, James Remar.
Oh, my.
And Janet Gunn at the peak of her powers.
From Silk Stockings.
Yeah. She did 6 years on Silk Stockings, but why do you know that?
Because...
Did you watch Silk Stockings, or did you get that from IMDb?
No. Yes. Yeah, I mean... That was
on at USA at like 11:30. It's like, is there screwing in this show? No, but after people screw, they talk about it, and that's why it's at 11:30. Oh. Or Lorenzo Lamas's Renegade.
It was the cold open for Red Shoe Diaries. I had like an edging format I was going for.
No place to hide.
Tell me what she smelled like. Was it like fresh soap?
You watched the Red Shoe Diaries? Wasn't that David Duchovny?
Oh yeah, it was David Duchovny.
Wasn't he on that show? Oh my god.
He steals a non-trivial amount of money in a bag. Like, it might as well have been like $10 million, 1920 something, where this film takes place in. He gets found out by the mob boss that he steals from, so he has to now skip town and leave all these orphans to their own devices, I guess. He jumps on a boat. He jumps on the wrong boat or the right boat, depending on how you want to look at it, and he winds up as a thrall for Roger Moore, who is a morally gray character that has this other kind of dodgy sidekick.
Curtis Smith and Christopher Dubois, your personal valet.
And he
Not
knows
just
about the
any
tournament?
dodgy sidekick.
Sure.
It's Jack McGee.
That's
Who
true.
you recognize from projects.
Playing fat guy.
I mean, he's a character actor.
Yeah.
That's what you're called if you're good at acting, but not good at people wanting to have sex with you when they look at your face.
He winds up on Muay Thai Island, literally, and he learns the way of the fist and the foot. Apparently, he finds out that a couple of different fighters across the world, the best of the best, the best fighters.
You can't say that. That's already a movie.
That's true.
You can drink every time you accidentally say the name of a martial arts movie.
He he learns of a tournament featuring the good enough of the goods. I guess
if Chris Penn fought in a tournament in real life.
It would turn out just as well.
Can we just we should just do best of the best just so we can talk about how Chris Penn was Team America's secret weapon. It's like, we have a guy who can kick someone so hard they'll literally die. We have Eric Roberts, and we have the fat guy from Reservoir Dogs. Let's do it.
You even have Shang Tsung in this that's kind of curating the tournament. And what is the stakes of the tournament, Jason?
You get a giant golden dragon statue.
Good luck trying to take it home.
Good luck. Yeah, right? It's like, if you lose the tournament, you must remain on the island. If you win the tournament, you will remain on the island because you threw your back out trying to lift your prize. It's like, can you just write me a check?
Yet Dubois always wanted one of these, right? That was his motivating factor. He wanted a gold dragon to bring back to the orphans.
To the orphans, and they'd be like, can we eat this? And he'd be like, technically, yes, but don't. It is my statue.
Right.
Where did that accent go? I know how to sell Belgian.
Well,
give me a do-over. Yeah,
he's Belgian American.
He doesn't sound
right.
I don't know what he sounds like. But in terms of the martial arts fighters they got for this, very cool stuff. They got the capoeira guy from Only the Strong. They got the one of the stunt guys from Kung Pao. Enter the Fist. They got the only guy to be granted the title of Yokozuna without winning the largest sumo tournament in Japan, who got kicked out of sumo, did WrestleMania 7, got kicked out of wrestling for he was supposed to lose, and then he was like, I'm not going to lose, and then he refused to sell his opponents like strikes.
Oh, crap.
And then he goes, wrestling is fake. I could beat this guy. And he get kicked out of wrestling. And then he did some MMA. But it turns out like he was really good at tackling people. But then they would just punch him in his head.
Right.
He didn't do very well at that either. You know, he was a good get for this movie, I guess.
Sure.
They got Peter Wong from Bulletproof Monk. The German guy was randomly in some Jackie Chan stuff, which I think is really cool. Rounding out the cast, the big bad of the movie was his friend Abdel Kisi, who was the brother of the guy who was Tong Po in Kickboxer. And you're like, yeah, that guy looks like he could be Mongolian. Otherwise, why would his hair be like that? But he was actually from Morocco, but he and his brother moved to Brussels. And that's where they met Van Damme and became lifelong friends working out in the same dojo. So those two guys did a couple of movies with Van Damme.
Mm-hmm.
Abdel was in Lionheart and The Quest and The Order. So that's cool. He broke a dude's spine in this movie. That's not really a spoiler. It's just kind of spoiled that guy's day.
Literally the same scene, pretty much. Instead of like chopping his throat like the dude in Bloodsport, he Batman's breaks his back rather. I think
this is almost exactly Bloodsport, which itself was almost exactly Kickboxer.
Sure.
So
there's a good 25 minutes that needs to be cut from the film, but then it wouldn't have made its 95-minute runtime. Like, give me all day the bad grandpa into clown stilts, and then it just kind of like we have to figure out a way to get him there, and so he like gets on this island. All of that is very, very cuttable. The movie starts at the tournament, as most tournament movies do, right? But like you said before, it just takes goddamn long.
It takes so long getting there. Yeah. And like I understand they had to establish some of the characters' motives. They had to establish why Van Damme would go along with Roger Moore's plan. You know, they had to establish
out of the way
how because he didn't get invited to the invite-only tournament, so they had to establish how he planned to make his way into the tournament. They had to establish that he was actually a good fighter. So, like, I get why they left this stuff in, but also kind of cuttable.
I like how Maxie Devine kind of becomes a coach too, like because the other guys are into it, like Roger Moore and his buddy are like, they're rooting for him, but they're always like,
he's outclassed.
you're way in over your head. You should just throw the fight. Like, they're trying to get him to pikey this shit, like, the entire movie. Yeah. And he's just like, no, and James Remar's
and then he pulls a Brad Pitt, and it doesn't go down when he was supposed to, and messes things up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Snatch, ripped off this movie. I guess. I just love how James Remar is essentially Johnny Cage in this film, and then he actually plays Raiden in Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah, not the good one. He was.
Yeah. They couldn't afford Christopher Lambert anymore, so
they couldn't afford the guy who played Johnny Cage either. So.
Right? Yeah, they killed him in the first 2 seconds.
It was a different actor. I didn't know that. I thought it was the same actor. It was a different actor. It was the guy that's on Patriot.
Yeah.
Was on Patriot. R.I.P.
That movie. That's a fucking cult of films. Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Yeah. That was quite a tournament. Also. I think this movie limped so Mortal Kombat 1 from the same year could walk. I don't know.
Shit, it was the same year. Oh my God.
1996.
So this was a Matrix Dark City deal. Like, we're like, oh
yeah, but this I don't know. It felt more Street Fighter, maybe because there was a sumo wrestler. I think because in Balrog, it's like this guy does ice stuff. Yeah, this guy can shoot fireballs. This guy can throw swords at you and like roll up into a ball somehow and defy physics. He takes off like a Harrier jet and then he moves laterally. They're all defined by their powers. And then Street Fighter's like, this guy is from Russia. So, he loves bears, borscht, and belting back vodka, the 3 Bs.
Pretty much.
How are you going to represent India? Very racistly.
Right.
Yoga fire.
You know how you're always teleporting?
And breathing fire.
What? No. No, look, we're not implying all people from India can breathe fire. This guy breathes fire because he loves eating curry so much.
He's stupid stretchy.
Dalsim's actual backstory is that he eats so much curry that he can breathe fire.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep, so... As much as like these guys are from these different countries, it's like that explains their fighting style, but they don't all. I don't know. I say that, but like the guy from Spain's like, I'll do bullfighting shit. It's like
you're right, yeah.
More punches and kicks, man.
At least they cast like the Greek fighter is a guy named Stefanos Miltsakakis, so he's from Jersey, but at least they attempted to find someone from Greece.
Well, he looks greasy. He was good, man. Cesar Carnero, the capoeira fighter. Anytime capoeira's in a movie, you just know it's like, all right, you're going to cartwheel into the arena. You're going to do some electric boogaloo shit.
You're going to get punched in the nuts. Tired,
yeah. And then we're going to be like, we didn't get it. Take 2. And then you're going to cartwheel while dripping with sweat, and then and you're just gonna like, all right, you did 3 flips for no reason, and then the other fighter just walked out, conserving his energy for the fight.
It's my favorite fight of the film is that guy and versus the Chinese guy, because the Chinese guy is always turning into a different animal, and that's fun.
Yeah, Peter Wong did like form of kung fu where every form he did was a different animal, and he picked the animal that would pair, I guess, well with the other fighter. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and it was a fun little side game that James Remar is basically playing charades with him, because he's just like, oh, now he's a snake. Ooh, now he's a monkey.
now he's a tiger, and he just like was just doing like armless air cartwheels, and he's like, just like a tiger.
It would be great if he turned to James Remar. He's just like, I'm doing sloth form.
It's gorilla style. He punched him with his right arm, then he punched him with his left arm, like a gorilla would.
That's the best scene though. Is that guy versus the capoeira fighter, and they're just going for it, and then like 60 seconds of just them like shadow boxing, and then they turn and bow. I'm like, oh, I thought this was the fight the whole time.
I know. I love regular actors getting so precious. Like I was watching something about Knives Out, and what's his name? Captain America was like,
Chris Evans.
"Oh, when I was eating cookies, we had to do a bunch of takes, and my tummy hurt from eating all these cookies." Oh, and then they're like, "All right, Caesar, we need you to do 40 cartwheels, and then just do 9 flips." Oh, we didn't get it. Take 17. Oh, but I need some Lotus biscuits. Oh.
Yeah, it's like, say what you will about these martial arts films, they're silly, but there's so much going on, the choreography and all that
These
stuff.
These dudes are all super ripped.
Yeah. And they're...
Because over the weeks of shooting, when you just have to do a 35-second sequence dozens of times, the tournament, the actual part of the movie where people beat the shit out of each other, very cool. That's why I like this movie.
Yeah.
It's as far as tournaments go, it's one of the better fighting tournament movies.
Unfortunately, the one that's supposed to be the most impactful as far as the fight goes, it's kind of unceremoniously the worst fight. I for whatever reason, I thought that all the other fights were super cool because you had those like styles versus styles. But of course, Van Damme writes Dubois as just the cheat code.
He's Rocky.
Yeah, and
he writes him as Rocky. Is like the whole movie. Everyone's like, "You're not a very good fighter."
Yeah,
he's outclassed.
And he's like, "I would win with heart."
Essentially, this is Van Damme's Grown Ups. This was him getting his buddies to go like to an island getaway, and there was a lot of complaints. At one point, the crew went on strike because they're like, all Van Damme wanted to do was just go sightseeing with his friends, especially producer Mashi Diamante or Diamant. They were just like, people would show up, like Roger Moore would show up because he's a professional, and he's just like, "Where's Van Damme?" And he's like, "Oh, he's at the volcano trying to absorb his chi." It's like, no, he's doing coke off of a stripper's ass, like a Thai stripper's ass, because I mean, this was at the peak of that mountain for Van Damme when he made this film. There was a lot of to do about his cocaine usage during this film, because he's just like, usually I'm just an actor, and he was like coming off it at this point, but then he had that extra layer of responsibilities of being a director and a filmmaker. So I mean, he just wanted to.
Roger Moore was so pissed.
Oh man,
he talked about this movie in his autobiography about how much he hated, and like at the end of the movie, he was just steaming because he hated how unprofessional Mashi and Jean-Claude were, and then Mashi invited him to work on another movie.
Did he go? I don't even know.
No, he never worked with him again.
Oh, okay.
You know who else who almost was in this movie was Tatum O'Neal.
Oh, really?
But she broke up with Van Damme and didn't get the part for some reason.
The flashback Van Damme, or Dubois, is Van Damme's actual child.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But yeah, it's...
Well, Tatum O'Neal would know a little bit about your dad making you be in a movie, so... It's a Paper Moon reference. What did you think I was talking about?
I can't say.
Jesus, dude.
I can't say. This podcast has me thinking about Silk Stockings and Red Shoe Diaries. It's a fun film. This was one that pissed off the Van Damme purists, because you could imagine the hype for we were probably too young to really like be excited for this, like really be jacked for this, because
I mean, we were young teenagers. This was the perfect age for this movie to come out, frankly.
I feel like this was like, for a Van Damme fan, you should have been like 30 to like...
I wasn't who was a Van Damme fan? You were just like, this guy's in movies sometimes. Did he really make a movie with Dennis Rodman? That's a weird choice.
Just everyone that looks like Steven Seagal now was a Van Damme fan in 1996.
Oh yeah, if you have a ponytail now because that's how your hair looked the last time you got a hand job, you are definitely into this movie.
Yeah, exactly. So they went in and they saw that. They're like, this is Senpai behind the lens. Oh my God, what does he have in store for us? And then they just saw Kirkland Bloodsport, and people were fucking pissed.
I was 12. I didn't know I saw this movie before I saw Kickboxer.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like, I hadn't seen Kickboxer, I hadn't seen Bloodsport, I hadn't seen Lionheart.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
this was one of the first Van Damme. I probably saw Time Cop than this, right? Like,
what a 1-2 punch. This was supposed to be his Enter the Dragon. He's like, Bruce Lee did it, and he went on vacation and, brought cameras also and a lot of cocaine. It is so much fun now. Like I said, we could have picked any Van Damme film to kind of like break the seal with, but I think
we talked about this one because, hot take, the fighting in this is better than the fighting in Enter the Dragon.
I don't even know if I could go on that trip with you, brother.
Because Enter the Dragon's like everyone's doing fucking karate, and then Bruce Lee shows up and kicks the shit out of everyone because karate sucks. That's Enter the Dragon.
Sure. Okay. Oh.
Right?
It just like kicked me like when you said it, and then I'm like, oh god.
I mean, Bruce Lee's cool, but everybody else in the quest is awesome because everyone's doing like, they're not doing an exaggerated caricature of a dude from Greece. He's doing an exaggerated Greco-Roman wrestling thing. And would Greco-Roman wrestling work against a guy who has got 50 pounds of solid muscle on you? No.
Right. Yeah. No.
It turns out when you go to suplex him, he just lifts you up and throws you.
It was a celebration of styles. You could tell that he wanted a place to showcase what he's seen throughout his travels, and it was like a celebration of the overall well-roundedness of
We're really romanticizing just the shittiest movie, but like, but I agree with what you're saying. But I'm still not going to be too sincere because we're both severely irony poisoned, which is why we're critiquing bad movies on we're taking the safe route of like, we don't want to accidentally say a movie was good when it was bad or bad when it was good. So we'll take a movie that everybody says was bad and we'll say, yeah, but you should watch it anyway. How brave.
How brave of a quest we went on. I'm just saying I see where, like, through his lens. I'm not saying the execution was immaculate, because it wasn't. Like, there was so many just wrong choices in here, but I could see where his romanticization of the art form that is martial arts.
Yeah,
this was his love letter to like everything that he did, and this was his like vanity. Enter the Dragon. Did it land? Fuck no. But is it fun? Yeah. Like
the tournament is very cool. This movie takes a little while to get going,
and you get a heist in the middle of the tournament.
Yeah,
that's
you
cool.
Get James Bond doing a heist,
right? It's extra
very
points.
Cool.
That's extra points. Let's skip right to like who we'd recommend this film for.
Well, if you're into martial arts, odds are you've probably seen this, but if you haven't, I mean, this is imagine if Street Fighter took itself seriously, right? This is just, I mean, if you like Bloodsport, I think the fighting in this movie is better than Bloodsport, because Bloodsport was too serious. It was just like, everyone's just like, I'm going to punch and kick. This really showcased the different martial arts styles.
Yeah.
You got to see Capoeira, which looks cool. You got to see Savate, which looks cool. You got to see a guy try to wrestle. You know, you get to see a guy do some really cool kung fu stuff. So
he's moving like an animal.
You know, even it was like, who would win between a wrestler and a sumo wrestler? Well, so I think in that aspect of it,
there was a show on Spike TV that did that, right? It was like Deadliest Warrior.
Oh yeah. That was like, would like a Russian special forces
kill a ninja
be able to kill someone in the mafia? Yeah, right. What if a ninja fought a Viking? I'm like, why would you use a time machine this irresponsibly? Right. Go back and murder Thomas Midgley if you're going to use a time machine, right?
We built this $50 million atomically correct dummy just to stab it and watch it bleed out.
Right?
Yeah. Spike TV.
We borrowed a scientist from NASA who should be assessed the strength of the ceramic tiles on the outside, but he came here instead to put a bunch of accelerometers into some ballistics gel to see if a Viking could actually fight a pirate.
There's 20 million children dead because,
Did
this guy...
Spike TV make this movie? This seems like a Spike TV ripoff of Bloodsport, but like everybody who was in Bloodsport came back for this. So
yeah. Who wouldn't want to go on vacation, right? Like, Chris Rock signed on to do Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. It's just sometimes you have to make a movie like this once you get to a certain level. And especially if you're just like a stunt guy and you're like, I'm going to go do some yay with my buddy and, some secluded island and act like I'm dancing around. Sure, why not do it? Yeah, I would recommend this for, like you said, martial arts purists, especially of that era. But also, this plays to the bad movie folks as well. It has enough in there that is just kind of laughably bad, especially that first, 15, 20 minutes is batshit crazy. Is just this weird, like, fever dream.
With this, we buy respect. If we want something, we take it.
$18. Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
And you're like, yeah, I think my fever broke because I could have sworn I saw Jean-Claude Van Damme on stilts in clown makeup. And then he was like Johnny Knoxville, like Bad Grandpa. I don't know what happened, but I think that happened. It does happen in this. So it does play to a lot of different folks who shouldn't watch this film are just like die-hard Jean-Claude Van Damme fans because this ain't it, right? Like...
You know what could have saved this? Bolo Young.
Yeah.
Could have saved this movie, probably.
Yeah.
Like he saved Double Impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one with his twin, not the Double movie with Dennis Rodman.
No.
I get those confused.
I thought you were going to say his twin, Dennis Rodman.
You remember that thing Mulaney did for kids, that kid show he made for Netflix, where he was like, when I was a kid, I really liked kid shows, and now I watch kid shows and they're bad, which makes me think that kid shows were just better back then.
Yeah.
Maybe I liked this because I liked being 12. But I watched this movie every time it was on TV for a couple of years, and watching it again made me smile because it's bad, but it's fun. And I don't know. It's the best Street Fighter movie.
Hey, and guess what, you bastards? Like, this was our MCU when we were 12, right? Like, this was the shit that we had to watch. Like, this and The Crow.
This was a crossover.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Mortal Kombat came out after, and then the ball started really getting rolling. But we were under 18 when this shit came out. Of course, this was awesome.
And we don't hold The Crow 2 against The Crow. Edward Furlong movie, The Crow 2. He was in a bunch of movies when I was a kid. Now I don't have to be in movies anymore. That's great. Good for him.
He's hanging out with Ron Jeremy at house parties, just at the open bar, just going hard on the Skull vodka without the stopper. It's just, whatever. We're not gonna judge, right?
We should have done The Crow, man. That movie ruled.
When you're not trying to be awarded golden dragons that you can't bring home, where can everyone find you?
I'm on Twitter at Jason E. Alt. Check out my link tree, and you can see all the other projects I work on.
You can follow me on Twitter at John the Host. You could also follow this very show at The Cult of Films. You can listen to this in podcast form on all your favorite podcasting sites like iTunes and other ones that we used to plug, but I, for some reason, can't remember now. Until next time, quiet!